Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Enrich Education Physical Phonics webinar. My name's Keith McDowell, and I'm Project Development Manager at Enrich Education. We're delighted that so many schools have been able to take part in the session today. Enrich Education are the largest provider of bespoke school orienteering courses, cross-curricular outdoor learning resources and training in the UK. We've been delivering our cross-curricular outdoor learning programs for the past 5 years, and this, along with the other services and products we provide, speaks to our mission, which is to provide creative and innovative solutions for schools that encourage all young people to be physically active. We're one of the Youth Sports Trust partners, a business associate of the Association for Physical Education, and we've gained First for Sport endorsement. So today, I'm going to talk to you about why you might consider incorporating opportunities for physical activity and outdoor learning into your teaching of phonics. To introduce you to the Enrich Education Physical Phonics resource that we've recently developed, and to share some examples of active phonics games that'll give you ideas about how you could incorporate physical activity into your phonics program. A couple of housekeeping items before we start. If I could ask people to turn off video and sound on their devices so it doesn't interfere with the sound quality of the presentation. We will have a chat function running during the webinar. My colleague John McBride's here with me, and he'll aim to respond to some of the queries that are raised on chat during the course of the webinar. We'll also be staying on after the webinar to respond to queries or comments on chat. So you'll have another opportunity to use the chat after the webinar finishes. We've had another really good response to our webinar today, so please do bear with us if we can't get back to you today. However, we will respond to everyone who contacts us, and we'll make every effort to do this as promptly as possible. Hopefully we won't have any problems with the technology, but if we do, please bear in mind that we will be emailing a full recording of the webinar together with the resources that we discussed today to everyone who attends. So let's start thinking about why it might be a good idea to incorporate physical phonics, physical activity and outdoor learning into your phonics program. Well, firstly, as you'll all know well, phonics is taught at a very rapid pace, with children covering a great deal of content throughout the foundation stage and Key Stage 1. Incorporating active games and outdoor activities into phonics gives children opportunities to revisit and practice and apply their phonics skills and knowledge that they've been introduced to through the school's existing phonics program, so that their learning becomes more secure. It also gives children alternative ways of applying their phonics skills and knowledge in different contexts. And it provides opportunities for kinesthetic learning. Finally, it creates more opportunities to get children physically active, helping schools achieve the challenging targets set by DfE for time that children should be spending on physical activity. But most importantly, providing all the physical and mental well-being benefits that children get from physical activity and from taking learning outdoors, something which will be increasingly important as children return to school after lockdown. So the aim of the Physical Phonics Resource Pack is to provide schools with a resource that enables them to combine their phonics teaching with opportunities for children to get physically active, including taking learning outdoors. The pack's intended to supplement and complement, not replace schools' existing phonics programs. So it's not linked to any specific phonics program or scheme. Teachers can adapt most of the games to deliver whatever letters or combinations of letters will fit in with the phonics program that their school uses and with the needs of their children. And the games and the activities should be easy to fit into your existing timetables in whatever way suits you and your class. There are over 40 different phonics games and activities in the pack, covering all the main elements of phonics skills and knowledge, and giving teachers a substantial resource bank that they can select from. The aim is to give teachers lots of variety and choice, so you can select games that best suit the needs of your children at any one time. The games are also versatile. They're not linked to delivering a specific set of letters or combinations of letters, or to a particular order or teaching sequence. So teachers can use the same game on a number of occasions, which hopefully you'll see when we demonstrate some of the games later today. Most of the games can also be adapted to play with small groups as well as whole class, which should help with differentiation, and it also means that they could be used as part of a phonics catch-up program. We've tried to make the physical phonics games and activities as simple as possible to set up and play. The games are designed to be straightforward, and they should be easy for children to play. Building physical activity into phonics teaching doesn't necessarily require specialist resources. It can be achieved by using the generic resources, most of which will be readily available from your school's existing stocks. However, our physical phonics pack also includes a range of photocopyable resources, including letter cards, digraph cards, word cards, and picture cards, to help make preparation as quick and as easy as possible for teachers. And you can see some examples on the slide on the screen now. So we've done some simple animations of games to give you ideas for the sort of ways that you can use to introduce more physical activity into your phonics teaching, and the sort of games that are included in our physical phonics pack. And I'm going to talk you through some of these now. So the first game is a rhyme game. It's a game to help children hear and recognise rhyme. And it's based on the simple idea of children matching rhyming objects or pictures. That's the session plan on the screen now that's in our physical phonics pack, but we've done a simple animation to illustrate how the game works. Now, obviously, there'll be more children playing the game in our illustration. Children are in teams, or you could play the game with one group. There are 2 hoops in front of each team. In hoop 1, there's a set of pictures or small objects. In hoop 2, there's another set, which has rhyming matches with the objects or pictures in the first hoop. So the child at the front of the team runs, takes a picture from the first hoop, runs to the second hoop, and has to find a picture or object that's a rhyming match. They then run back to their team with the rhyming pair. Cat and hat in this case. When all of the children have collected a rhyming pair, there's an opportunity at the end of the game for teachers to get the whole group to check some of the pairs that the children have chosen. The game isn't linked to any particular sets of rhyming words, so you could play it on different occasions with different sets of words, and you can select the words that suit your children and the resources that you have, and so on. There are pictures that you can use in the resource section of our pack, but you could also use sets of rhyming picture cards or objects that you've already got in your school. Like a lot of the games in the pack, you can also enhance the physical activity in this game. So for example, asking children to hop or skip rather than run between the hoops, or by getting children who are waiting their turn to do some star jumps or make body shapes and so on. The next game that we're going to look at involves children matching a letter with a phoneme from the name of an object or picture. It'll probably work best with sets of 4 to 6 different letters, and it's up to you as the teacher to select whatever set of letters you want to use. This is another team game, but again could work equally well played with one group. So there are large letters at points around the playing area. The child at the front of the team runs and collects an object or picture from the hoop in front of their team. They have to think about the phoneme at the start of the name of the object and then find the letter which spells that phoneme and run to stand by it. Then the next child runs, takes an object or picture and repeats. Like a lot of games in the pack, you could introduce an element of competition into this game and have the team which is the first one with all of their children standing by a letter winning the game. But you can also play it non-competitively. And again, you could have some follow-up discussion at the end of the game where you check some of the children's letters and pictures with the whole group and make sure that they're standing next to the correct letter. The game could be used with any set of letters that you as the teacher want to reinforce. The examples we've shown looks at linking initial phonemes to letters, but this game could work equally well matching letters with, for example, medial vowels or final consonants in words. So again, it's a versatile game that you could use on numerous occasions, depending on which letters you want to practice or which phonics skills you want to reinforce. You could differentiate the game by, for example, increasing the number of letters around the playing area and then asking some of the teams to look for the letter which matches, for example, the medial vowel of the picture or object rather than the initial consonant. You could use your school's existing large letter cards for this game, but we've also got a set of large letter cards in the resource pack. And we have a set of pictures of objects and animals that you could use to play the game with, but you could equally well use or combine resources that you already have in your school. And again, you could enhance the physical activity elements in this game by adapting the way that children move. So, for example, asking them to bunny hop to the hoop to collect their picture or object. The next game helps children secure their knowledge of consonant digraphs, either at the beginning or at the end of words. Children each have a letter card from a selection that can be used to spell different consonant digraphs. They move around the playing area. The teacher calls out a word, which in this case has a consonant digraph at the end. Children who have one of the letters from that digraph have to find the child with the other letter and then run and sit down at the edge of the playing area. The rest of the children then continue to move around until the teacher calls out a word which has a different digraph at the end. You could increase the challenge in this game by limiting the time children have to find the other letter. So, for example, by counting down from 10 to 0. You could also vary how children move around the playing area. So, for example, asking them to make animal movements or skipping or striding, etc. You could use this game to focus on consonant digraphs at the beginning of words or at the end of words, or both at the same time. So it's another versatile game which can be played on different occasions. To save you time, we've included a list of words that you could use to play this game in the session plan in our pack, but it isn't linked to any specific words, and teachers are free to use whichever words they want. The next game is a game that involves children reading whole words, and we've called it a tricky words game because you could, for example, use it to help children recognise high-frequency words that are more difficult to get using phonics. But you could play the game with any sets of words. So, for example, it could be used to give children practice in reading CVC words to develop more fluency. And the game's based on a game that's sometimes played at children's parties. Children sit in a circle. Each child has a word card. If you have a larger group, you probably have 3 or 4 cards of each of the words that you've chosen to use. The teacher calls out one of the words, and the children with that word have to stand up, run around the circle, and sit down again as quickly as possible. So children are focused on reading the word that they're holding. Children could have to sit down in the same place or run once around the circle and then sit down in a different place than the one they started from. And of course, increasing the size of the circle will increase the amount of running that children have to do. After a couple of goes, if the teacher asks the children to pass the word to the next person in the circle, the words that they read will have frequent changes. This is another game that involves children needing to read whole words and so reinforces their blending skills. They need to read words so that they can find and capture the correct ones. So children are divided into two groups. Group 1 each have a word and stand in space in the playing area. Group 2 are divided into teams, and each team has a ball. The teacher calls out one of the words that Group 1 children are holding, and the child at the front of the team has to find a Group 1 child who's holding that word. Sorry, a Group 2 child who's holding that word. They roll the ball between their legs to capture them and take them back to their team. If they do this quickly, they might be able to return to the playing area and find another one of the same words. The teacher then calls out a different word, and the child in each team takes the ball and tries to capture a child who's holding that word. When all of the children in the teams have had a go at capturing a word, the team who've captured the most wins the game. The Group 1 children who've been holding a word can then be split into teams, and the Group 2 children each take a word onto the playing area, and the game can be played again. The game isn't linked to any specific set of words, so teachers can select whichever words will suit the needs of their children and play the game on different occasions. There are plenty of words within the resource pack that can be used to play this game, but teachers could equally well use their own word cards. And it's a capture game, so you can play it quite competitively, and you can also use it as an opportunity for children to practice their ball skills. The next game is designed to be played using the Enrich Education Orienteering phonic markers, the Enrich Education Orienteering markers. But you could also adapt the game to be played in other ways if you haven't yet got your school map for orienteering. It's a game that takes children's learning out of doors with all the benefits that has for children. The games in the physical phonics pack could all be played outdoors, although most could also be played in indoor spaces, so for example your school hall. So there's a set of objects or pictures in a hoop at a distance from the children. At a signal from the teacher, children have to run and take one of these and then find one of the markers that has a picture which is a rhyming match with their picture. So for example, star and car, and key and tree, and so on. You could introduce more challenge in this game by having only some of the markers or some of the pictures or objects in the hoop that rhyme with the picture on one of the markers. You wouldn't need to use all of your orienteering markers in this game. You could just use a few of the markers at any one time. So, the Physical Phonics Pack covers all the main phonics skills and knowledge that children need to master. It gives children opportunities to practice everything from listening skills to using phonics to read and spell words, phrases, and short sentences. It's divided into the following topics: listening skills, activities to help prepare children for phonics teaching; rhyme, games to help children hear and identify rhyme and to match rhyming words together; oral segmentation, games to help children hear and discriminate the separate phonemes in spoken words; letter recognition, games to help children link letters with phonemes and to build up the number of letters that they recognise and know the main sound for; digraphs, games to help children practice recognising vowel and consonant digraphs and trigraphs, including split digraphs; blending, to help children develop their ability to blend strings of letters together to read, for example, reading CVC words; segmenting, to help children separate words into individual phonemes and to select letters to spell them; reading captions and short sentences, to help children practice using their phonics skills to begin to read phrases and sentences rather than just individual words; tricky words games, to help children recognise irregular, high-frequency words quickly and easily, including those that are difficult to get using phonics, and to build up a sight vocabulary of those high-frequency words. And phoneme manipulation, games where children change phonemes within words to make new words, quite a sophisticated phonics skill. So I hope that's given you some ideas for how you can introduce more physical activity into your phonics teaching and a flavour of what's included in our physical phonics resource. I'm now going to quickly run through our range of options for purchasing products and services so that you can see how our physical phonics resource fits in. However, please do visit our website to see our full range of products and services. So our option 1 consists of a range of different bespoke maps specifically designed for your school and a set of 15 high-quality orienteering control markers. We allocate a specific member of our team to work closely with each school during and after the production of the school map. The number and letter combinations on our control markers mean that there's an unlimited number of different routes that the markers can be used for. Our option 2 provides the orienteering mapping and markers as set out in option 1, but in addition, schools receive our outdoor learning and active science resource packs. These provide schools with a wealth of fun and engaging active learning sessions that can take place both inside school and outdoors, and which deliver key elements of the national curriculum for geography, science, maths and PE. And the package also includes a set of 60 compasses, an essential piece of equipment for your school's delivery of geography and outdoor learning. This option also includes our remote whole school training package, which is endorsed by First for Sport, and it helps to engage all school staff in utilising these resources to their full potential. Option 3 is our most popular option. It includes everything from option 1 and 2, and in addition includes the full physical phonics resource pack that I've introduced to you today. The option also includes 10 high-quality phonics orienteering control markers that can be used to complement some of the activities in the physical phonics resource pack. So to finish off our webinar, just remains for me to say thank you for taking part, and I hope it's been useful for you.